They said Gray paved the way, chased the rain, released the pain, least you sane, getting paid, trend setting, brighter days, doper rap, tighter sets, high in Delhi, I'm a fighter jet, journey.
What's good, everyone? It's me, the original OG, Barika Dondada. Oh, no, not at all. He's not here today. There is no Bodhi, no Rob Chef. So it's just me, Rob K, host of MLW Confusion, with the actual OG, Muffins Martinez. And we got a good episode of Fusion last night, 2 big title bouts, and then, a storyline progressing match in the middle. Nice little sandwich. So I say we just jump right in on it. Show started off pretty hot with what was going to be just Lince Dorado versus Lio Rush. Those two have had kind of a clash in the past, with Lio stealing the middleweight championship belt. And during the entrance for Lince, a wild Akira appears, calling attacks, and despite no one saying anything, we just have a triple threat match now. We're just gonna have it. But the long story short of it, if you guys haven't seen it, it's great. Go watch it. But we have a new MLW middleweight champion in the form of Akira. So the Calling have their first piece of gold in the company. What do you think?
Well, I mean, the match was good. I love the match. The only thing that bothered me alone is that you could see the difference in style between Lucha Dorado or Lince Dorado and Lio Rush compared to Akira. Akira looked like he was a little lost, looked slow, wasn't as agile as the other two guys were. So he looked like he was just kind of thrown into that match, and he looked really out of place in that match. But like you say, he came with the win. Now the Calling has their first title in their camp, and it builds to the storyline going forward. But I like the match, but you could tell that Akira kind of felt lost in that type of atmosphere. A lot of jumping guys jumping around, doing a lot of aerial stuff, and he kind of looked a little slow, in everything that he was doing. But it is what it is, man.
Yeah, he is definitely not a luchador by any stretch of the imagination. He is catch death, or is it death catch? I can never remember which order it is, where he specializes in grappling and deathmatch theatrics. So he's a little bit out of his element, and I don't think it hurt him so terribly much outside of that tandem, the back-to-back stunners. Those were ugly. That was ugly enough that I wrote down, and it's like Lio Rush totally missed it. Yeah. didn't barely even touched him enough to give him the stunner. But that is what it is. I like that. I don't mind the title change overall. The middleweight championship has been kind of, I won't go so far to call it the hot potato belt, but it is prone to shorter title reigns than any of the other championships within the company. So it isn't unusual for a champion to lose the title into maybe 3 defenses. And
it was the finish came out of nowhere. So it kind of by surprise when he did that kind of reverse death driver or whatever, and he actually got the pin. I'm like, okay, I didn't see that coming. How it just got set up like that way. I'm like, okay.
Well, and I liked it because it was kind of flash, just to show how dangerous he is, and commentary really put over the finish as well, of oh no, that's the move, you don't get up from that, and Lince didn't. And then 2, despite whatever you could say how Lince wasn't prepared for this match, and there was a pre-match attack, he attacked the champion, he pinned the champion. There's no yes, there's just enough doubt to throw in a rematch in there, but that was a statement win overall, because anytime, regardless of how you do it, anytime you put the champion's shoulders to the mat for 3, that's a statement. And Akira and the Calling made their statement last night.
Yeah, now they have like you said, the middleweight title in their folds, and now they have a tag team title coming up next month at Never Say Die. Or Never Say Never?
Never Say Never.
Never Say Never. So you never know. They might get the titles and try to bring all the gold to the fold.
Yeah, and on the topic of the calling, we were just talking about it before the camera started rolling. The calling is getting a new member in the form of Mandy Leon.
Yes.
And so just because the featherweight division is so shallow overall, I mean, just her existence makes her a top contender for the championship as well. So like within very short order, the calling has shots. Well, have the middleweight championship, have a good shot at the tag team championship, and now the featherweight championship as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So I say fantasy booking.
So that's good. I mean, I love the addition of a female in the group, and I was surprised it was Mandy Leon. As soon as I saw her face, oh shit, that's Mandy Leon. Like, okay, cool. All right, wasn't expecting that. Like a Sleeping Beauty type of thing, about to be awakened into violence. So I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. At least they added a female member to the crew, so that's good.
Yeah, and compared to most calling videos, which I'm a fan of all the art stuff anyway, but at least this video kind of went somewhere. Like instead of it was just society is bad, trust in Raven. Like we actually had like, here is our princess.
Yes,
she is one of us. The kiss of life will be brought unto her, and she will honor the calling. And I'm down with it.
To bring her in.
And I'm down. Honestly, when it comes to stables, I do like pretty clear denominations within the stables of like, you have your tag guys, you have your world title guy. Now we have someone to go after the featherweight championship in the women's division. So that's no complaints on that front. Finally,
slowly but surely, the calling is getting their shot done. So
and so I'm curious to see how Never Say Never goes. And then depending on the success of that, even post Never Say Never, with like even setting the sights on the World Heavyweight Championship per se. But so great match coming off of that. We do get the announcement, which they were teasing anyway, but it's official now. Jacob Fatu will be getting his rematch with John Hennigan. Well, I guess it's not really a rematch because the original fight got called off because the calling attacked Fatu. But Fatu is getting his championship match with John Hennigan next week. And I assume that's leading to a title change too. If Tai is leaving, we've never not heard anything official from Johnny Drip Drip, but my assumption is that they're a quasi package deal, if nothing else, at least in terms of television product. So I could see him heading out either. But as far as I know, he's not signed to AEW, so there's nothing guaranteeing him leaving. But so we're getting that next week. So I'm curious to see how that goes, because that's Fatu's big fight, regardless of where he's at in the card. And now he's got like all sorts of interference in his general direction with him fighting off the calling, and then obviously like Azteca Lucha can't not be ringside either. So I'm curious to see how that will play out as well. So you got like two factions willing to take care of Fatu in one way, shape, or form, whether it be before the match or even during the match itself. So that will be fun. So we covered the Mandy Leon part. Our next match, the only one that doesn't involve a title, is Sam Adonis, speaking of the Azteca Lucha, taking on Willie Mack, kind of a continuation of the Azteca feud with Willie Mack. Pre-match, we get a rundown of his pre-match routine. Involved a lot of food. The wife is like, if I ate anything that was, if I ate that much, period, I would be sick, let alone doing any sort of physical activity leading up to getting punched or kicked or whatever maneuver you're going to take to the stomach. And I agree on that one. But so we do see Sam Adonis, Willie Mack. I thought it was a fun match. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Like, Sam Adonis is a guy, especially at this level of wrestling, like you can build a kind of a company around. Maybe not the company around him, but he should be your centerpiece heel. He's got a mouth, and you want to smack it off his face. He's good in the ring, and deceptively agile for his size as he breaks out the blockbuster and the 450, because he's not tiny, he's just not a hoss. And so the combo, like those two things alone, I build a stable around him and make him, if we're going to use the four horsemen analogy, make him the Flair. and just strap him up, like, and he can be your guy for years, just because he's just so slimy and despicable.
Yeah, what I found interesting about this whole match was after the match, after he beat and pinned Willie Mack with a lot of outside interference from Johnny Mundo. Yeah. And then, they're talking more crap, and we see Mans Warner going out for an interview. They kind of go there and destroy the interview, and then they jump Mans Warner 2 against 1. I'm thinking to myself, okay, where's the rest of Mans Warner's crew? Like, this guy gets jumped every week, and those guys are never around.
Well, I'll throw it out there first of all that the one called Manders is a terrible partner / mentor. If you watch your H2O wrestling, you'll see it right then and there. Like, you don't have to take my crazy word for it. I'm just some old man ranting at clouds. But I don't know where Matthew Justice was, and I assume Microman's legs were small enough that he was still running to the ring by the time it was over.
Yeah.
I didn't use that joke on the podcast, but I totally said it out loud last night watching Fusion with my wife.
I was thinking to myself, Microman's going to come out to make the save, but that never happened. So,
do you like that would almost be like, I think that'd be like Riot levels if Sam Adonis dunked Microman.
Yeah,
because you guys dunk on Microman, but the crowd does love him.
Oh God,
and just think of the heat Sam Adonis would have if Microman comes down with his kendo stick and Adonis just boots him in the face. Doesn't even get hit by the stick once. He just boots him.
Yeah, gets hit and he's like, "What the hell? I just got the stick on."
The crowd would be rabid. They're already kind of loud and obnoxious as it is. At least it wasn't Philly. Philly would have shanked him.
That part
they were just in New York.
Surprised me. Yeah, that kind of part surprised me that he never gets anybody to come out to help him, and he's always getting busted open or whatever, and there's nobody ever coming out to save Warner. Something like that. Like, what happened to those guys? Crew or whatever.
Well, they're second gear, man.
Put it on first gear or something. Go on third gear and go out there and save them, man, for a change.
Manders is only tough against podcasters.
We've seen the video. We've seen the video of you running away from him. So,
it's a bigger man than I physically.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was more like it looked kind of weird having that match in the middle of a night where you have all title matches, just having one title match and then that, and then later on another title match afterwards. So I feel like, okay, it is what it is.
Well, I didn't mind the placement of it just because if you're only going to have 3 matches and 2 of them are for the title, I think spacing them out would be a little bit better. That way you can have kind of a palate cleanser in between. And joking aside, the beatdown of Manser, ushers in the next phase of the storyline because they've been always already kind of talking trash about each other indirectly, and this is their first time real time coming together proper. I would say one-on-one, but with John Hennigan around, it wasn't one-on-one. And now they also have a build-in blow off to whatever happens next, since they brought out the strap. That's my assumption is foreshadowing. We're having a strap match.
Because all of a sudden he comes back with this. I'm thinking he's gonna go get a kendo stick or even a belt. Well, he comes out with this humongous ass strap. Then when I see the handles, you can see for the hands. I'm thinking, okay, so pretty sure they're gonna have a strap match. Never say never.
Yeah,
it looks like it's gonna be that.
And we haven't had one of those in MLW since Savio Vega and Richard Holiday. If I'm not mistaken.
My interest got piqued when I saw the strap. Hold up. It could be a strap match here or Indian. Well, you can't say Indian strap match anymore, but a Native American strap match.
Yeah,
hit on the 4 corners or whatever to win, like back in the days. But if that's what's going to happen, I'm definitely looking. I'm very interested in that match. If that is going to be a strap match.
Yeah, and I think both of them will pull off. Obviously, Mance is hardcore,
Yeah.
and Sam Adonis is going to be a tough guy until he's forced to not be a tough guy,
Exactly.
and it'll be so satisfying to see when he finally is like, begging not to get whipped repeatedly.
Yeah, exactly.
So that should be like, at least on paper, that should be a good match to be seen as well. So
For sure.
that's my only complaint out of that is just is how they treat Willie Mack in general. Like, he's one of those, like, the last couple of years they've done this where they've really kind of like hyped someone up and then made them pretty much a jobber.
Yeah,
like that's like my complaint is like, oh, it's Willie Mack, and we're going to feature him prominently on television. We are going to sing his praises, and he hasn't won a match. They did this with Warhorse, which, as a Warhorse fan, upset me greatly. Like, he even had like promos like coming in, like, Warhorse is coming, and then he lost to Alex Kane, was the first one eliminated in it was like an 8-man tag.
Yeah.
And then they did the same thing to Beef. Gnarls Garvin. He had promos. He won like his first match, and then after that, like, they did nothing with him.
I thought they were going to feature him for a while there, and then they put him together with Bud Heavy, and I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be interesting tag team, and then you never saw them again. And I haven't seen them in almost a year.
Yeah. And so that makes me sad, because like, Willie Mack is great, and he deserves a good run in MLW, and he's just kind of like he's getting the screen time, which is great. But on the other hand, screen time doesn't mean a whole lot if you're not backing it up in the ring either.
Yeah.
And like, yes, he's losing via shenanigans, but like, I know this is putting too much thought into the realm of professional wrestling, but if you know there's a stable of people who like to come to the ring despite not having manager's license, maybe you should draft yourself a posse as well. All right. Let's get to the main one, baby. Let's get to the main one. This is what we've been waiting for.
Yes, the one that made me happy.
Yes. Featherweight Championship in the main event. Taya Valkyrie defends her title against Delmi Exo.
Yes.
And we've called it for it seems like, I mean, since before I've hopped on this here show. So I mean, it's been a forever. We've been waiting for Taya to, well, defend the belt a bit more, get a storyline, and drop the belt. Yes. And we finally kind of gotten all of those things here within the last month or so, despite her dodging Delmi.
Well, especially when she showed up in AEW.
Yeah.
And you go like, oh, no, hold up. No, if she's here now, she needs to drop that belt now. And it's taken almost a month and a half to finally get the match last night.
Right. So spoiler alert, also and new, Delmi Exo is our featherweight champion. The peasants rejoice. I am happy to see that. Delmi is a great, lead for the time being. Though I'm not gonna lie, like, taking the eyes off this match in particular, like, I could see her being a transitional champion if they're serious about keeping Mandy Leon and Becca around, because I don't see either of those two like being beltless for terribly long. So I'm curious to see, because they brought in short order two pretty big name antagonists for Delmi, which on one hand, it'll be, if she vanquishes them both, that will be great for her. Like, that, those are two very solid wins to be had. But on the flip side, again, if either Becca or Mandy stay on long term, like, it's not going to be terribly long before gold's around their respective waists either.
All I have to say about this is that last night MLW did their homework, and MLW hit the homer out of the park with this feud, because right from the beginning, when the show opened, it was like a interview with Delmi Exo and Taya. So right from the beginning of the show, they made this match the important match of the night. They put it where it needed to be the main event of the night. Right from the beginning, it felt important, and I was happy that they gave that shine right from the beginning of the show to the middle of the show, and then towards the end of the show, and they made it the main event. And through all the shenanigans with Johnny Mundo outside, and Delmi Exo finally pinned Taya and she finally became the new MLW Featherweight Women's Champion, man. And I was happy as hell when that happened because, like I said, I've been hating on Taya since the day she won that damn title. And even more when she went to AEW and still being the MLW champion.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, I mean, I mocked the constant dodging of Delmi incessantly off this but regardless of it, like everything else about this feud, like they did what they can to make this match feel like a main event match. They did dedicate lots of video packages to it, not just last night, but like in general. Like they've done a good job of throwing in hype packages for the two of them. Like they and then even tonight, like they really kind of finally went for the jugular, so to speak, to really lift this match up to make it a proper main event and a proper feud ender as well. Because I mean, yes, Ty is in AEW. I doubt they're letting her come back for anything else. But they've also, through backstage shenanigans, have basically acknowledged that she was quitting anyway. With the technical difficulties.
The mic issues every time she tried to talk.
Yeah. So like for those of you who haven't seen the show yet, she has like two promos where like one blatantly like she's done the promo. She's doing the promo. She's like fired up and talking away and nothing. And like some guy comes in, he's like, "Oh, Taya, you gotta stop. The mic's not working," and she's disgruntled, pissed about it. And then it happens a second time later on in the show, and she's like, "It's this kind of bullshit is why I hate it here. Like, you're not seeing me again." Like, just flat out says it.
Thank God.
Yeah. So
thank you, Taya. Yes, get out, leave.
See, and I don't hate her that much, but I do feel like her title reign has been pretty stale overall. I actually think she's a very good worker, and I'm usually a fan of her. But just I don't know her title reign, just like outside of being a solid choice for the initial champion, like her reign hasn't done a whole lot for me.
Well, and now it's interesting now because now we get Never Say Never. Becca's supposed to be performing on that night. And now we have Delmi Exo as the new champion. So it'd be fun to see who should be going up against at that show. Will it be Becca or will be somebody else? So at least you'll see some new blood, young blood coming into the company, coming out for that show. So I'm definitely getting excited more and more as the week goes by for Never Say Never. So
and it's looking to be a pretty good show on paper, if nothing else. Really, like the things that may concern me about Never Say Never are things more surrounding the show itself rather than the show itself, because I'm still like mildly curious of how they're setting up fusion tapings from here on out with it. If they are doing the quarterly specials or whatnot, because like I've said in the past, like if they're just going to replay the equivalent of Never Say Never, like what's the point of buying it? Like, yes, it's, you're getting a whole bunch of other stuff for Fight Plus as well. So it's not like you're just ordering this as a pay-per-view separately.
Well, you're not buying it because it's part of the $7.99.
Yeah, it's part of its own. It's part of its own network, which makes me sad because I got enough wrestling streaming that I'm paying for. Man, I gotta throw Fight and. Maybe I'll like upload some things and get some credits, and maybe they'll let me do that way.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out what happens in the future. I mean, we're still a month away, so
yeah.
So from the actual show, so we'll see what transpires from now to then. The matches, what they're gonna do for Fusion, because I know they said they're gonna be a Fusion taping before the show starting at 8, so they're gonna do the Fusion taping from 7 till 8. So hopefully it's just matches that they'll be able to do it for the next 2 weeks and not put matches from the actual pay-per-view, like you said, on the episodes, because then that's going to just mean nothing. It's just going to suck if that happens.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Never Say Never is looking great. And they've added another little wrinkle to the Alex Kane not necessarily the feud with Hammerstone, but Kane did reference that they're doing another prize fight kind of thing for cash money. Grapple and the Big Apple. Is that what they called it?
Something like that.
I don't know. I put my notes down. Oh, Big Apple Grapple is what I wrote in my notes. I don't know. It was like, yeah, I thought I was done, and then we're like, oh, here's this cool new topic. I should we should keep talking.
So that should be interesting to see exactly what's going to happen from now till then.
Yeah, so like we got at least another Alex Kane prize fight either then or come leading up to it, and then of course allegedly we're going to find out who the money person is behind the Bomayes, which obviously they're breaking out the piggy bank because they're getting O'Shea Edwards, Big Bad Kaiju. So, yeah.
So do we have anything else to talk to share or no?
I mean, that covers at least the fusion part of it. I mean, we've touched on Never Say Never, which I mean, I feel like we'll continuously talk about Never Say Never until it happens because they're still, they're announcing new matches as it goes along. There's going to be new wrinkles as it happens. So I guess we can call this good. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Take us home, bro. Take us home.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Of course, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let Chef know that he shouldn't be whipping out on us. Like, he's known in advance this was happening. He planned it out.
Well, hold on. In defense of Chef, there's not.
It's his anniversary.
Today is like the 25th year anniversary with him and his wife. So, dude,
I just gotta talk my shit while he's not here to defend himself.
Can't hate on that, man. At least he has a good excuse, and maybe it's not his excuse; it's his wife's excuse. Like, we going out. You taking me out today. We're not doing no wrestling podcast today, so
I'm just giving him shit because this is the first one he's missed since I've been on. Yeah. So I as far as I know, I've canceled a lot more than he has. So I just the wife doesn't want you to play with your little wrestle toys. Yeah, that's it.
Not today. Not today.
He's got a good excuse. So wish him happy anniversary in the comments. Yes. There we go. Yeah. It takes work to be together with someone that long.
It does.
So, back on track. Yeah. So be sure to like, subscribe, hit all the comments, follow us on the socials. UW say Urban Wrestling Network, UWN, or Urban Wrestle N.W.A, I believe is the primary ones because there's the bar. Hey, we finally got the bar going. Urban Wrestle N.W.A. Right? You think I'd remember it by now? You can follow me most of my socials at the Nova of Cass. Of course, to supplement this, we have the MLW Confusion podcast that drops every Friday morning via Spotify for podcasters, formerly Anchor FM. But you can get it wherever you get your podcasts. You listen to it on a Stitcher? Hey, we're on Stitcher. Yeah, you want it on Amazon? Throw Amazon that way too. We're a little bit everywhere. We'll have all sorts of merch stuff below in the comments. Just if you're interested in any sort of interactions on that front, hit us up on the socials. It'll be great. We are cool dudes when we're not bickering at each other. In the meanwhile, peace.